Hey guys, Harptronics here. So when you have a cathedral ceiling like this, and specifically these particular panels, because they are 7.5 inches of steel and foam, you really can't run any sort of electrical conduit through them, because you're basically cutting into your last line of defense before you're outside of your roof, you know? So you either can run conduit on top of it, you know, like down the beams or something, and then out and put those little, you know, covers on the conduit to the fixture you need, or you can do something like what I'm going to do, which is to put 2x3 furring strips across, and I'm going to do this every 16 inches on center, so the drywall is actually going to get screwed to these, and I left a 1 foot gap in between that'll run all the way up so that I can run conduit up through this wall here, out the side, and then if I need to, I can go down one of these channels and then left or right to a different space between some of the studs. So yeah, furring strips, and more furring strips. I have to do this whole ceiling, and then probably a little bit up there, and then also the office. So that'll be interesting. I'm going to start working on that now, and I'm going to try and do is time-lapse that for you. So I'm just going to set the camera up and just burn through them and see how it goes. I did just realize though that this spot right here is lacking some foam, so I might run back and grab some foam, or I might just wait until I get to that spot before doing so. So, alright, I'm going to set the camera up on a tripod and let's do some time-lapse. Alright, so the original plan was to actually do this entire side, this entire side, this entire side, and this entire side. I have since decided to scale that back to just this one here and that one there. The reason being because the whole reason for these furring strips is to put low profile LED lighting in the ceiling, and to run the wires through the wall, in between the furring strips, and then down and in between out to the lights. Now the problem with that up here is that there is no place to run the lights into this section right here without cutting into one of the thermosteel panels, because over here you can come up through the side here and go over. On this section here, you can do a similar thing by just going up through this wall right here and then coming over. But in this section right here, you can't do that. It's thermosteel panel to thermosteel panel the whole length of the house. So unless you cut into the panels and then somehow route the wire up into the steel, but then you're on the track and it's not ideal. So I'm just going to do 2 rows of lights here. Rather than just doing 1 row in the middle on each of these sections, I'm actually going to do 1 row at the bottom, 1 row in the middle. It doesn't make sense to do any at the top because they're probably going to hit the beam because of the angle of the light. And then over here I'm going to do a similar thing, but because we already have the soffit in the way, it's going to end up being probably 1 or 2 lights over here, and then a row in the middle there. Similar thing for the office. Rather than running furring strips the whole way through all 3 of these partitions here, 1, 2, 3, I'm just going to do it on this lower one. And I might run the furring strips the opposite way. Now, I do have the same problem on this wall of thermosteel panels all the way around, but I'm thinking that if I run a chase up through here, because there's already a wire chase that runs this way, if I run one up this wall and then just take out just a little bit, or go in behind that little bit of track there, you know, put a rubber grommet around anything that I have to cut through, and then come right up into furring strips going vertically, so these ones would just follow the beam, then I can do this whole section. I can leave a little gap in the middle going vertically so that I can run wire up through here and then over sideways, but then I'm going to do a similar thing with just, you know, 1, 2, 3 lights, or maybe even just 2, depending. I'll have to take some measurements. This is 9 feet, so we could do we could do 4.5, 2.5, and 6.5. But I have to figure that out still. Then up here, probably would do, you know, like a ceiling fan or some track lighting for that. Although this room's going to be pretty bright except for in the dead of night anyway, because of this window. But anyway, that's just a quick status update of what I'm thinking now. So it'll be kind of an interesting effect. You probably won't even notice it, but this section is going to be, you know, 1.5 inches farther down than this section. So the drywall is going to be on here, on these strips there, and here it's going to be flat up against there. Now I think because of the depth of these beams, you're not even going to be able to see it, but even if you can, I think it's going to look kind of neat, where this is going to be down a little, this is going to be down a little, and then the top part is just really nice and high up there. So, yeah, I think I'm going to pretty much pack it up for the day today, but made good progress. This took probably about a full day's worth of work by myself just to do all of this, and it was tricky up at the top here because you have these really narrow spots to work with, and you can see this here is about as high up as I can get the screws. Now, I probably could like nail the furring strip on an angle to this beam, but I don't know. It was easier actually to just make little mini studs for that last little section there for the drywall. So anyway, as always, thank you for watching. See ya.